Hi everybody, it's 3 o'clock and I'm back again. It's Friday, beginning of a new week for me as part of my lives, right, until the end of the month. Okay, so can you just give me 1 minute? Hi Raki, give me 1 minute. I am just going to start tagging first. Give me 1 minute. Just relax, guys. Let me do a bit of tagging for people to... Some people have told me that they want me to invite them or give them a notice that I'm going online. So let's just give them that notice. Everybody is too busy nowadays to remember by themselves, which is fine, right? We have to remind them. I don't see the group setting. Otherwise, I would just go to the group and invite everybody there. Okay. Two minutes. Okay, all right. How's everybody? Hi, Daljit. Give me a minute. Let me get the camera in place. I'm putting it on the tripod. It's a bit of a dreary day today. Looks like it's going to rain. There's no sun. Actually, the last couple of weeks, every day, the sun is just not shining. So we're not getting our vitamin D as we should be. So it means that you've got to take more supplements, all right? Vitamin D supplements. Hi, Gourmet. I hope you managed to catch my recipe. Thank you for calling me this morning. Sorry I couldn't speak. It's just that before the lives, I'm always really busy because I've got so much research to do. Hi, Nora. It must be really, really early for you in Ghana, right? It was what, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, good afternoon from here, but good morning from you, for you, right? Okay, for those of you who are watching from other countries, please do us a favor and just tell us where you are tuning in from. Nora, can you tell everybody that where you're from and which country you're in? So it's always nice for people to know. Thanks, Gurmit. Great. If you go to that page, right, there are actually quite a few recipes, even the older recipes, which even before I launched the channel, I had put up quite a few, some of them, you know, some really healthy recipes where I'm making zoodles and things like that. And I think that that will suit the purpose that you are, you said you wanted to get healthy and you needed some recipes which were nice ones, right? So this will actually suit your purpose, okay? Hi, Shri Drona Devi. Yes, my friend from She Network. Now, I saw your speech on the She Network channel, the interview that you did with Joy. That was lovely. And I'm sure we'll connect at one of the women events coming up. Except I'm not sure how to call you. Which name do I use? Is it Devi? Is it Drona? Or is it Shriya? So sorry. Yeah. Okay, so Nora says it's 7 a.m. from Ghana. Yeah, wow, that's a long way to go. But thank you for making the time to get up and watching me. Hi Karen, hi Bernard. Bernard is also my good friend from yesteryears in the food business as well. I think he's still in the food business. Can you confirm that, Bernard? So, today, what are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about entrepreneurship. Now, this is a word which, for the longest time, I didn't even know what it meant, okay? Because I never considered myself an entrepreneur at all, okay? And I think I need to tell you a little bit about my background for you to understand where I'm coming from. Hi Fueng. So basically, when I came here in 1987, I came here because I had fallen in love with someone who lived here, and I definitely wanted to be here, even though at that time I had just 5 years earlier I graduated as a lawyer in Singapore, and I was just starting out in my journey there. But as a lawyer, of course, at that time, we never looked at, starting our own businesses or anything of that sort. We were looking to be employed, right? We always thought in that way. And I think that now I've realized that that is the difference in the kind of education that we've got in the way that we live. We always think to ourselves that, oh, okay, after I graduate, I'll be employed by a good company and I'm going to make this much of money, and that is what I want. Okay, but you see, life has changed so much. The world has changed so much. Today, we have entrepreneurs. And in those days, not to say that there were no entrepreneurs, of course there were. And in fact, I come from a community where everybody more or less is an entrepreneur, okay? Because we come from entrepreneurial families, all right? Where the family tradition was that we would all do our own business. Now, I'm a Sindhi, proud to be one, right? And Sindhis are well known for their entrepreneurial capabilities. So most of them end up going into business and really doing well for themselves. They are very, very entrepreneurial. Yes, Bernard says he's been in the food business now for 38 years. So he's really an old hand at this and very good at what he does. Okay, so basically, yes, I was saying that I was from an entrepreneurial family. But being a lawyer, I never thought to myself, I'm going to start my own firm at that time. Okay, it just didn't occur to me. First thing I said was, I want to work with someone. But that hope, all right, although I did work, I was in practice and working with the Malayan Law Journal, okay? So I was in the midst of lawyers and everything all the time. But it was different because I never got an opportunity, although I was voted most likely to succeed in corporate life. Never in the kitchen, because at that time I didn't even go into the kitchen, okay? My knowledge of cooking was zero and minus zero at that time. So this is why when I finally went into that profession, right, it was a surprise to many, mostly to my mother, who was absolutely shocked by my decision. But things happen, and really we didn't know that this was going to happen. And so the story goes, okay, let me just tell you the story very briefly, is that I came to Malaysia and I could not work. I was an expat at that time, right? And I could not work. So I had to look for something to do first of all. Now, in the meantime, so what I did was that I actually, of course, I had, my ex had a lot of good friends in the legal profession and all that. And they said that I could come to the office and just go to court with their lawyers and then do background work for them. And in the meantime, I also applied to do a master's in law. Although I've never been an academic at heart, I always knew that I wanted to be in court, you know, speaking and arguing cases and doing criminal law and things like that. I saw myself as that, okay? But because of my circumstances, and at that time I was very much in love, and I said, no, I have to come to Malaysia, be with my husband, and I'll find something to do, okay? Which I did. So I enrolled for the master's course here at University Malaya, and I also started, yes, learning how to cook a little bit, because I came from a family where everybody cooks, okay? My mother-in-law is a great cook, still is, and my mom, who's not alive anymore, she was a fantastic cook as well, okay? Hi Aryan, hi Sundaraj, hi Jyoti, hi, wow, Yvonne, hi, oh, how are you? So nice of you to be watching. Florence, hi. It's great when I have people from, Yvonne is in the UK, Jyoti is here, right, okay. So basically I was telling everyone about my story, how I came here, and how I got into cooking in the first place, right? So it was at that time, right, that I had my first child, and I had just, we had just built the house, and I had a beautiful, beautiful kitchen and a beautiful, beautiful house. Those of you who have been to my house know that it was just a gorgeous house with lovely views and scenery, and it was right in the middle of Bukit Tunku, and it was like it was in the middle of a jungle, but it was beautifully done up. Yes, Yvonne says, great to see you live. Yeah, great to see you here too. Never thought I'd be doing this, but it's a lot of fun. Love it. Okay, so what happened then was that basically, let me remember. Yeah, so while I was still trying to figure out what to do and all that, I remember that when I was starting my course and everything, I got pregnant, and I needed to then find a way to do everything, and I was also learning how to cook at that time, and basically also trying to, you know, as a new wife and a new marriage, there was a lot of things to learn, there were a lot of things to get used to, and honestly I wasn't too very good at all that, okay? So cooking up a storm in the kitchen became for me very therapeutic. I loved it because I really would be using all my pots and pans in my new beautiful kitchen, which I had designed for myself in my new house, and so it was quite an experience. But I started to realize that, you know, I was good at this. I mean, I could cook, and there were a lot of people who I would ask them to taste my recipes, and especially for people, my ex-husband was one who used to entertain a lot because he had a lot of clients coming in from many different countries, and they loved my cooking. So that's when I started to realize that, hey, maybe there is something that I can do down here which doesn't, I mean, I don't have to become a lawyer here. I don't have to, because in the first place I wouldn't be able to go to court, and that was because I was not I didn't have a practicing certificate here, and also because I would need to be able to converse or speak in Bahasa. And although I had some knowledge of Bahasa Malaysia, right, it wasn't good enough to be able to present in court and to do a case, you know, in that language. Now, that would have been too much. I would not have been able to do it, okay? And so I think that along the way somewhere I started thinking maybe this is something I could do, because basically I wanted to keep myself occupied. And at that time also, I was very concerned about the fact that I should be able to make money, okay? So that issue of being fulfilled financially was still very much in my mind. You know, I wanted to achieve something, and it wasn't going to be in the legal profession. And I think it took me quite a long while actually to come to the understanding and come to the acceptance that I could actually do something else. Because see, that has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, how women are viewed in public, right? I mean, even my mother-in-law started telling me, why are you doing all these things? Why are you going to the kitchen? As if it is something that is a lowly job. You know, you shouldn't be going to the kitchen. You're a lawyer. You're an educated person. You know, and these are the kind of views that really I didn't subscribe to at all. I thought for me, I needed to be good at what I was doing, and if I was doing really well in the kitchen, so be it. You know, there are so many chefs who are successful and they're doing brilliantly, right? Hi Chris, hi Carolyn, hi Leah, thanks for coming on. So I'm talking about, you know, how I became I started my cooking journey, all right, and how we actually progressed from the time that I got married. So basically that was the whole issue, and I realized that this was something I was passionate about and that I enjoyed. For me, because I was already going through many issues in relationships and, you know, with my husband, and trying to get to know how to deal with things, you know, I needed to be able to do things which would make me happy. And cooking in the kitchen did make me happy, all right? That I can vouch for, and it still does, till today, you know, being able to create an unusual dish or something which makes others feel that it's enjoyed by many is something which I really like. I love the idea of feeding people, okay? That's something which I know that I've always been that way. So anyway, so the whole thing sort of developed really organically. You know, I had no plans to actually start a cooking school or anything like that, but it was the way, and it went in that direction because of circumstances at that time. Now, however, at that time, I didn't know anything about spirituality. I didn't know anything about Buddhism. I didn't know anything about all these things. Came on much later. All right, it was only the fact that I had a beautiful kitchen, that I could actually invite people over and they could have a beautiful experience in learning how to cook certain cuisines which I was good at, okay? Basically, the ones that I concentrated a lot were, I started off with North Indian cooking first, and then only I went into things like Mediterranean, Middle Eastern. These are all my comfort cuisines, which today I am totally comfortable with and very much love, okay? South African, right? All these were Cape Malay cooking. These were the things which really made me feel very, very happy, you know? Okay, so now it was through my cooking that from just doing a cooking school and being able to do cooking classes, I had a lot of people coming in, a lot of expats, a lot of locals. It was a very mixed, international, cosmopolitan group, and everybody had a great time when they came here because they loved the camaraderie. They loved the fact that they were meeting new people and learning new things. So it was actually a very, very nice time of my life. You know, I enjoyed everything that I was doing. But I think that deep down inside, there was still this niggling feeling that I was not doing what I was meant to do. I mean, okay, I think that it was at that time that I suddenly realized that, you know what, I'm determined enough to be able to do or be good at whatever I do. But was this really what I wanted to do for the rest of my life? I wasn't sure. I mean, I wasn't even introspecting at that time, okay? I wasn't meditating or anything of these things. But I was just enjoying what was coming up for that moment. And I knew that I wanted to take the cooking to a higher level. And that was when I started corporate cooking classes, okay? And team buildings. So that also was successful to a certain extent, but it required a lot of work and planning and strategizing and all that, because I couldn't do it in the house. I was trying very much to use all my resources in the house. Now, actually, now when I think back on that, I realized that one of the reasons that I was so focused on doing everything in the house was why? It was actually stemming from an insecurity inside that if I took it out and spent money on it, I would not be able to make it work. Then, it would be a failure on my part, and it would mean a loss of money. So that scarcity mindset was still very much a part of me at that time. I have to admit that, okay? And I'm willing to say that it was something which I think now when I look back on it, of course I learned from it, right? And I then was able to understand later when I started becoming very a spiritual junkie and went into courses and all that. It was then that I recognized that, oh my gosh, I have this problem. I am so scared. I am so insecure. I am so afraid of failing with my own money. It's okay to do it from the house because there was no cost to me, right? Anything could happen, but I had the security of that. So that scarcity mindset realization came much later, but it was there at that time. And although I came across as being very confident, very good in what I did, I was actually very insecure about going into business and really going big. So I played small by just doing everything from my own stronghold, my little stronghold, my house and my kitchen, and that was my play area. Okay, so all these realizations I only made much later. Okay, so that was my first encounter with entrepreneurship, building my own business from my house. And it was only later, it was during those days, of course, it was the time when I did a lot of things actually. Okay, I was doing I did one challenge where this was the one that a lot of people will remember, because I was a chef who was asked to cook for David Beckham. David Beckham at that time was the brand ambassador for AIA Vitality, and AIA Vitality approached me and said that they want 3 chefs to cook a healthy nasi lemak. This was after I changed the business over to healthy cooking. All right, I was one of the forerunners who started health cooking and bringing in whole food and whole grains and everything. So when I cooked for David Beckham, I made him a healthy nasi lemak. And there were a lot of people who said that I wouldn't be able to do it. But there were 3 of us who were asked to take part in a challenge where we would be cooking healthy nasi lemak, and there would be a whole team of judges, including David Beckham, to eat the nasi lemak and to try it. Now, I don't know whether this was planned or not planned, but poor David had some sort of indigestion the night before and declined to try the nasi lemak. But there were quite a few local judges as well. Somebody high up in AIA, and there was 1 or 2 local chefs. I don't remember their names, okay? And they all agreed that all of us had good versions of nasi lemak, but mine was more authentic. But I was told by the AIA guys that they really liked mine very much. So that was great. And in testimony to that, I was then asked after that for the music run. There was a festival called the Music Run, where there was a lot of music. It was some sort of marathon, I remember, and we were all asked to showcase our foods as well. So I had an investor at that time, a food investor who was backing me up, and he said that he would help me to create all these nasi lemak boxes, which we could promote at the run itself, and it went very, very well. Yes, this was called the Music Run, and if you look at the pictures I have posted for my poster for this week, I have some pictures of that as well. Okay, so we promoted the nasi lemak there, and it was a blast. Everybody loved it. It were completely sold out, and that was good. So after that, I started doing a lot of other events where I promoted myself as a speaker. One of these was in Singapore for the Lifelong Learning Festival. This is always in November. I'm not sure whether it's still going on now, but all these were events where I was able to promote myself more as a health speaker, okay, as someone who knew about health, because I had already done my coaching at that time, and sorry, not coaching, I had already done my course at that time, and I was coming across as a health coach. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is that even though I was promoting myself as an entrepreneur, I actually was not doing it consciously. You know, it was just all events that came about, and I was not, I would say that I was not designing the whole thing consciously. You know, it just were circumstances that came into my life after my cancer, and I left after my divorce as well. There were many events that came up, giving me the opportunity again to speak in front of people and to be able to promote myself as a speaker for anti-aging, a speaker for health, and all these kind of things. And it was only much later after that that I started to realize that I also was starting to feel very strongly about motivational speaking. And at this time, of course, I was doing more meditation. I was doing more seminars, my own improving myself by doing a lot of work on myself. And I started learning about all the practices I've been talking about here, like Ho'oponopono and Gita, I love you, and all these things came about at that time. Okay, so this was building myself up to become the entrepreneur. So I think that in order to be able to be a good entrepreneur, you have to have certain skills, you have to have certain qualities. And today, what I'm going to talk about is basically what I've learned from my own journey. What are the skills and qualities which I have picked up? Although I will be the first one to say that these are just a few, and I am definitely still learning a lot. Okay, every day is a learning experience where I'm understanding new skills and new ways to see myself as an entrepreneur who is enterprising, who is creative, who is opportunistic, and all the things that I think are essential and which make a good entrepreneur. So this is definitely a learning process. I am still a work in process, very much a work in process, and I'm definitely not done at all, because there is still much to be done, both in the in all three areas: physical, spiritual, and the emotional. And I really am enjoying the journey, in the process of doing it slowly and coming up. Okay, so let's look at the 15 key success factors of a good entrepreneur. Okay, love for all of you to engage as well. So for those of you who are also interested in, or who are doing your own businesses, please type in your views, type in your observations, and I'd be happy to talk about them as well. Okay, so the 15 key factors which I think are important is willingness to take action. So first of all, execution is key, right? You can't just only be talking about things and not doing anything about them. So the intention is important, the execution is important, and it's only when you take steps to actually do something, whatever intention you have, you must be able to put it down, and then the next thing is to take steps. So the willingness to take action must be there. Next thing is entrepreneurial knowledge. If you're really serious about wanting to be a good entrepreneur, then you must also do a bit of learning, all right? Because you can't just, although there are many of us who come from business families, who went into business just like that, out of that. But it really makes a difference when you are actually doing some work, studying a little bit about the skill, the knowledge, and all this, the entrepreneurial knowledge. I think that makes a hell of a difference. Okay, next thing, an entrepreneur, what is a good trait, entrepreneurial trait, is to be creative. And to be creative, you really need to be open. You really need to always be able to look at different perspectives and not shut down and not be rigid in your thoughts. And I've said this many times again, that is a very key entrepreneurial quality, to be creative and to always look at things from a growth mindset, or from a, don't be myopic in the way that you look at things. Look at it at long range. Okay, like for example, if I had not been open and entrepreneurial and creative, I wouldn't have come up with Zoom classes, right? I needed a way to pivot. And of course, this is another trait, which that word has become very important now in 2020 because of COVID. A lot of businesses had to pivot, and those that are successful are the ones which were able to pivot quickly. So you need to be able to take action, you need to be able to take it fast. Okay, so when I first looked at the idea of pivoting as far as cooking classes were concerned, I really didn't even think that it was possible to do it. I thought, how is it going to be done? How will I be good at this? I don't have these skills. But I kept putting my faith in God, and I kept putting my faith in the divine and saying, I'm constantly being helped, I'm being guided, and just let's try it. And every single day in my prayers in the morning, I would say to myself, or rather I would say to the universe, help me to find a way to do this where I can do this confidently, and help me to be there all the time. Hi Lita, hi, thanks for coming on. Henry, hi. Hi Wendy, thanks for coming on. Wendy is a very good entrepreneur as well. Okay, she does beautiful paste, curry paste. By the way, I made Thai green curry today, and I used your paste, and the kids loved it. So we have a lot today of entrepreneurs in our midst who are doing many things, and I salute all of them, because I think that they are making a great difference to our world today. Okay, just all these small businesses coming up is helping everybody. Okay, Henry says, how have you been? I've been fine, just as busy as always, you know, trying to cook up new ideas about what to talk about. Okay, so we were talking about traits of a good entrepreneur. So a good entrepreneur, and I was saying being creative, and how for me, my creativity has a lot to do with being silent. When I'm meditating, and this you will understand, a lot of you will understand if you know that for me meditation is not just about I do a practice where I start with mindfulness, then I go into proper meditation, my transcendental meditation, and lastly it is manifestation. I call it manifestation because I am able to tap into a feeling, or you know, my surroundings, and I just feel that I'm so connected at that time, and all my ideas come up at that time. Okay, and these are the ideas which I find I am able to visualize. Suddenly it will come to me. Don't ask me how that happens yet, but you know, this is the kind of things that I want to be able to teach people. I want to be able to show people that it is possible. And as part of what I'm doing now, you know, I am going to ask anybody out there who's interested, who feels that they have not discovered what it is that they want in their life, who want to live a life of design, to actually call me up, have a chat with me. I can do a half an hour chat on one of the calendar-based apps, which I will give you on my page, on my Facebook page, and we talk about it. Okay, basically I can help you to identify 2 or 3 areas, or you give me the area where you feel that you are not performing enough, and I will try and help you to see. But we need to be doing it for at least half an hour. We need half an hour, so you have to make that time. But I'm willing to have that chat with you. So this is serious. Call me up and let me know. Anybody who's interested. Okay? And Wendy says, meditation is something I don't know how to do but wish to do. Oh, Wendy, it will change your life. And believe you me, when you actually start meditation, the first excuse I get from people is, oh, I don't have enough time. But what you don't understand is that meditation can help you make more time for yourself. A lot of things which you thought that you don't have time to do, these are the things that you really need to do, because it frees up your time, because you're clear about things. It gives you clarity. Okay, so I think that that is a very key thing. And I showed you all a book that I was reading. Remember, meditation gives you better performance. And that is, for me, I definitely know that that has happened for me. I am more clear in so many things that I do. I have more clarity, and so it actually shortens the time and distance of from one goal to another. Okay, and I think that when you practice it, that's when you yourself will see how it can help you, because this doesn't happen in 1 day or 2 days. Okay, you really need to do it for a few months, 3 to 6 months. Then when you look back on it, you'll see, hey, I have actually been able to establish this in a much shorter period of time. So it shortens the period of to manifestation, because ultimately, for those of us who are entrepreneurs, that is what we want. We want to be able to achieve something, and you are able to do it using your meditation as a tool. And that's something that I can teach. Okay, and that's something that when you work with me, I'll be able to do that. Okay, so remember what I just said. half an hour, I will be able to help some of you, those who reach out to me. Okay, all right, let's get on with the entrepreneur success factors. Yes, entrepreneurial intelligence, specifically for your own business. Now, obviously, you need to have some intelligence for whatever it is that you're doing, all right, whatever entrepreneurship that you need. Like, for example, Wendy would need to have some intelligence of how to cook certain spices. She would know the properties of certain spices, how to make the paste so that they can last for a long time, that they don't spoil, and that they are completely vegan. They don't use any sort of additives or preservatives, right? How to keep them plant-based all the time. So this requires certain entrepreneurial skills on her part as well, right? The intelligence, I'm saying. Now, one more is patience. Now, patience, I think, is one of the biggest attributes that an entrepreneur needs to have, because this journey is not something that you can do like this. It doesn't work that way, right? And I think that most of us fear failure. We fear that we are not going to be able to make it. And many of us, when we fail the first time around, we don't want to try again. Well, this is where persistence, perseverance, resilience, all of these words come in, all right? Because you really need to be patient. You really need to be compassionate towards yourself and not be judgmental to yourself, right? All these things will help you to become a beautiful, heartful entrepreneur where you can then succeed. So the first time that you fail, and failure must be something that you must be able to take and not feel that it has defined you, because it doesn't define you. You must be able to get over that failure and say that I'm going to try again. Not just, so this is true in everything, in your career, in your life, in everything that you do, right? And it's a difficult lesson to learn. I mean, I myself have been talking the last couple of weeks about how that failure defined me. In the beginning, I really needed to work on myself. I really needed to get rid of all the limiting beliefs that I had, that I could not get over this. And that's why people go into depression in the first place. So the mental health part is important, really important, to be able to become who you feel you are. Okay, so thank you, Jean-Marc. Jean-Marc, you're listening. Yeah, well, I think all of us have been through some form of suffering. All of us have been through some form of failures. But we need to be resilient. We need to be able to come back. And not everybody has that resilience from the beginning. But it can be learned. And that I know. Because we are all learning it in some form or another. Okay? Okay, Wendy has a question. Today's era requires us to cope with technology. For example, get used to interacting with a laptop and keep... I can't see what you said. Your see more is not coming up. Let me see. What's your question with laptop and keep updating that part? Because I can't see what you're saying. I can't press on it. Yeah, well, I think what you're trying to ask is today's era expects us to be able to cope with technology as well as being able to do to cook at the stove and all that and do technology. But that is the era we are in, yes. And I think that even for someone like myself, remember, I always tell people, yeah, that when I graduated from university, there was no such thing as email also. We were still using telexes and we were still using telexes, that there's no email. And yet I was able to come on. I mean, although I complain a lot about, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, I will find a way. I will find a way to be able to learn from there. And I think that here, as I say, mindset becomes really important. If you are of the mindset that I will be able to do this, saying the affirmations which are positive and say, it's okay, be relaxed about it. Don't react, respond, and just say that, okay, I'll find a way, I will find a way, and you will. See, this is where, all the things that I've been talking about the past few days, they all come in. And when you are able to change that mindset and to change and have the mindset that I can do this and it will happen, even if it happens slowly, it doesn't happen so fast, it's there, it's coming. Keep telling yourself that I can do this. In my kitchen, I have that affirmation sitting there, all right, that things are always working out for me. And I say that so many times, all the time in a day. Not am I only doing Ho'oponopono, but I'm also always saying things are always working out for me. For those of you who know Marie Forleo, I'm sure you've seen her book. Maria Forleo is the owner of B School. B School is a very important, very successful, she's done an 8 or 9 figure business, and she was just a dancer who decided to go on her own, but she became such a fantastic personality on TV. You have Marie TV now and everything. So hers is a real example of someone who just, was spontaneous and was able to create a business just being who she is. And her story is really something that I love to talk about. And she just recently wrote the book that everything, that's the name of the book, is figure-outable, her own word. Everything is figure-outable. So have that affirmation. Everything is figure-outable. We can figure out everything. Just trust that we will figure it out. And then this too will pass, right? Any problems that you're having, keep telling yourself, this too will pass. And you will figure it out. So more than anything, it's just not reacting. It is responding and being okay with it. And when you are able to do that, things will change of their own accord. You'll see that. It may take time, but things will change. Okay, Wendy, give me a call. I want to do that half an hour call with you as well, because I think that it will definitely help you. Okay, so next, I talked about patience, persistence, perseverance. All three of them are qualities which every entrepreneur needs to have, right? The other thing is teamwork. Now, it's very difficult to in today's day and age, if you really want to be an entrepreneur and create a big business, you need a good team. And how do you find that good team? Well, I don't know, because I haven't found mine yet as well. I'm looking still. And I think that I have just decided that I will put my faith in God, and that when the time is right, He will bring those people to you. But maybe my time is not right yet. I am still struggling to do things and all that. But it's still doable, okay? So, but we're talking about big business now. People who really want to have a good, they will need a team of people who are on the same page. That means everybody thinks the same way. So it will need an enterprising entrepreneur who can then give that message to his team, all right? And the team is working as a team. Everybody works together to create the same outcome. So that's really important. I think that those of us who are already in business, who are already doing businesses where you require to work as a team, you will understand completely why this trait is really important, and this mindset to work as a team and to be able to delegate, not to need to do everything yourself. This is how a business can become scalable. This is how a business can grow, when there is a team that you can trust and that you know is working to create the same outcome, all right, the same results that you are doing. The other thing I think that all entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, must have that trait, is this knowing that you're okay with taking a risk. All right, risk taking is really important, especially for big business. We all know that unless you are able to take risks, all right, don't play small. You have to play big and be okay with it. Play big. In order to play big, you have to think big. So again, it's mindset. It goes back to mindset again and again. So when you work on all these things together, that's when the whole scenario will change 360. Okay, so you really need to be active about these kind of things, and to really be clear about what it is that you want to achieve. So creating a life, this is what is called creating a life of design, where you actually design your life, and it requires a few steps. It's not just, thinking, but you become clear about what it is that you want, which areas of your life you want to change. Hi Gulnaz, hi Maya, hi Tunku Rafida, and Mickey Udagawa. Hi Mickey, I don't think I know you, but welcome. Hi Tila. Okay, next, self-confidence. Now, confidence, of course, is one of the main things if you want to be a successful entrepreneur and to have a successful business. I think that confidence comes about through experience as well. The more you do things, the more you make mistakes, your confidence will come after that. Okay, you have to be able to have that gall in you to say that, I made a mistake, but I'm confident that I can make it right, that I can do it again, and this time I've learned from it, so I will not make those same mistakes. So you just have to have confidence that you're being looked after, that whatever mistakes that you made. Remember, I talked about this the other day. I said to you that always have the attitude that things are not happening to you, but for you. All right, when things happen for you, what is it that I'm meant to learn from this? What can I learn from this? And how can I make it better? These are the right questions that you need to ask. You don't ask the question, why did this happen to me? That's not the right question, because that is showing that you worry about all things. No, you don't need to worry about it. You need to ask yourself the question, why did this happen to me? What am I supposed to learn from this? And how can I make it better? When you are able to do that, when you're able to look at the whole experience and see where it could be that this is a lesson that you were meant to learn and that you can learn from it, okay, this is where you will grow. You will start to see things in a different way. Your mindset about failure, about all the things that you can't do will change. So you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be compassionate to yourself. All these traits will help a lot. Okay, I have never been one of those who feels that you should scold yourself and be judgmental to yourself. No, that attitude shuts off the learning centers. I've already told you that. So you really need to not be blame yourself for things, and just be compassionate and learn to learn again. You know, have the feeling that I'm here to learn, that this whole lifetime I am a lifelong learner, right? I love those words because I know that I can identify with that totally. Okay, right. So that's some of the things that I want to talk about today. The other day somebody asked me a question, and it's something that maybe I want to ask you as well. What do you think that is there such a thing as someone who is a born entrepreneur? Are entrepreneurs born, or are they made? Or can you become an entrepreneur if you don't have an entrepreneur mindset? What is an entrepreneur mindset? Give me some feedback, anybody. What is your view of what is an entrepreneur mindset? How is an entrepreneur mindset different from an employee mindset? Most of us grew up thinking that we are going to become employees, that we will be employed by someone. And in a way, that mindset is a very closed mindset, where you think, oh, somebody else is going to provide for you, is going to give you some money, right? Where you never feel the need to go out of your comfort zone. I think when you become an entrepreneur, you have to change that mindset to think that I've got to reach further than myself. I don't want to play small. I want to play big. And therefore, I can challenge myself. You have to constantly feel that you can challenge yourself so that you can do bigger things. And you have to be okay with that. If you keep to that, like for example, for me, being in my house, and it was only after, remember I told you I started my business in my house. And I was happy to just sort of stay in that mindset, to stay in that comfort zone of mine. And it was only after I started having really bad problems and marital problems with my husband, and he was the one who actually told me that I think it's best that you take the business out of the house, find a place to do it from, and not from this house. So he challenged me, and at that time, of course, I was very, very upset about it and very afraid. But now when I look back on it, I think that it was actually a good step, because he taught me that I can do that. My business was successful. When I took it out of the house, I was able to pay my rental. I was able to survive. I was able to, in fact, it made me understand that I can do this, and it gave me a lot of self-confidence. Of course, after that, I was diagnosed with cancer. But that initial going out of the house, creating that business, taught me that I can do this. Okay? It taught me, that was crucial at that time for me, to learn that I can do this, because that was, after that I realized that, okay, it gave me the confidence to know that when I start my business again, I definitely will be able to succeed, because people know me, because people were willing to trust me, people liked my food. All these things will help you in future businesses, in your future time. So in the beginning, of course, at that time, I was angry with him. I felt he was not being understanding. But now when I look back on it, I realized that it was a lesson, it was a life lesson, which the universe wanted to teach me, that, and to show me that, girl, you can do this. You can look after yourself. You can do this for yourself. And that's how I took it. And that's why it actually made me feel that, one of my best teachers is my ex-husband. He helped me to understand a lot of things which I wouldn't have understood had it not been for him treating me well. I thought at that time it was cruel, but that is sometimes, it is suffering which gives us our most potent learnings, right? We all know that. And it can happen to any one of us. So we just have to learn from it and be grateful that we were given the opportunity to actually make that understanding, to make that learning. Okay, I cannot emphasize more about this than all this, because it happened to me. So I really now have been able to look at it in a way that I do not feel anything about it except gratitude that I actually did learn from all this. Okay, so dream big, focus on the right things, surround yourself with a team that has all the same ideals that you have, right? They all want to be as successful together so that everybody benefits. Don't be afraid of failure, right? And in answer to that question, we didn't answer the question just now, which I asked you, are entrepreneurs born or are they made? Well, I think that they are made. That you could be a born entrepreneur if you come into a family where everybody is an entrepreneur, like some of our Cindy families. But I think that there are many who are made, who come from a life of very little, all right? When they're young, they didn't have anything at all, but they had a dream, and they had the will, and they had the resilience and the persistence and somewhere in their mind, they knew that I can do this. Those words must always have been somewhere there, and it was only then believing it and bringing it up to the fore. Okay, so I think that we've had quite a few minutes already, and that's what I want to say. Any comments from anyone? If you have any comments, please do type it into the chat. I'm waiting to hear from you. Come on, guys. Let's be proactive here. I have a lot of loves coming up. Thank you, guys. So tomorrow, I'm actually going to be talking about another practice which I learned about by David Hawkins, okay? And this is a map of passion, and I think that this is really important for entrepreneurs because it's going to make a difference in the kind of life that you design for yourself and how to create a life of design, okay? So once again, I'm going to tell all those people, those of you who really are interested to create a life of design, you can actually schedule a session with me. You contact me on my Facebook page, and I'll do a half-an-hour session of trying to give you 3 or 5 ways where in 3 or 5 areas of your life where you can change, okay? Or areas of your life where you want to change or you want to create something for yourself, and we'll just talk about that and see whether we can work together or not. Hey Shakila, hi. Anjita, hi. Ida, hi. Long time no see, hope you're well. Okay guys, so any more comments about today? We were talking about the entrepreneur journey and specifically my journey up till now. For those of you who see, I'm actually using my posters to show you my journey. You know, many of the things that I've been doing, I haven't highlighted all of them, but it's a lot of fun to talk about all these things. But you know, I wanted to make it more informative for you and to be you know, that it should apply more to you, because that's more stuff. But anyway, I will mention some of the posters, when I and all the little events that happen down there. Mona says, I believe passion with a purpose. Great sharing, Geeta. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on. And I'm glad that you're all here. And I'm trying very hard to, you know, show you all the things that I did not do right. There were many things I didn't do right, but hopefully now I'm getting it all right, and I've learned so much, and I just want to be able to share all that with you. Okay? All right, so I have said what I want to say for today, and tomorrow we'll talk about the map of passion. And for those of you who want to know a little bit more about that, go and Google David Hawkins, okay? And tomorrow I'll tell you all more about it. Tomorrow is Saturday, so we'll see you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon again. Hope everybody is having a nice MCO, and that you're all at home but still doing your work and staying focused and doing a lot of stuff. Okay, so have a great afternoon, what's left of it, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And those of you who wish to contact me, please do so on my social media. You can do it on IG, you can do it on Facebook, whichever one that you're using. By the way, somebody was asking me yesterday about my IG. Yes, I do have an Instagram account as well, and it's geeta.lach, L-A-C-H. Okay, so please do contact me down there. You can, I have posts about my cooking, I have posts about my meditation, so have a look at that and see whether there's anything that you want me to discuss more. Love you and leave you now, and have a great day, what's left of it. Okay, bye-bye. See you.